Get Bradley back, and this is my villains' backstories. So yeah, I updated the designs for them. So yeah, this is what were their names? Sorry, I forgot to get the list. But yeah, basically it's the sin of greed and the sin of the sin of greed and the sin of not lust, of glutton. But yeah, just need to get the list real quick. So it's going to be Blaze and Deanna. Huh. Yeah. Deanna. So, yeah. It's going to be Blaze and Deanna. Sorry, I forgot to put the names down. But, yeah. It's pretty recent drawings. So, yeah. Okay. Blaze and his sister, Deanna. They're going to be living on the streets. Their parents abandoned them. And they had nothing but each other to survive. They had to grow up on the streets. Once Blaze got his quirk, his sister thought it was awesome. His quirk is called Steal. He's able to steal anything from anyone without them noticing. So, yeah. And Dan's, her quirk is nutrient steal. She always feels hungry for some reason. And her brother can't keep up with the expenses of food. And when her quirk develops, she basically starts taking people's nutrients to sustain herself. She takes it from everyone off the street. She even takes it from, if she, tried hard enough, she realized that she could end up killing a person with it. Blaze is basically just going to be stealing wallets and not money from people. So him and his sister can survive. Eventually he gets enough saved up to buy an apartment. And his sister is basically, shining, seeing it. Her face is basically just not glowing, but she's basically drooling at the sight of it. So, yeah. And Blaze is really just has always been studying in not economics, but basically been studying not polls, but stocks. Been studying stocks for a long time. And he's finally got enough money to go into the stock market. And he's made wise investments. So, yeah. He's been able to steal a lot of money from people there, too. So, yeah. Blaze is pretty much just happy that he's made hundreds of dollars off of the stock market in a week. He's basically imagining how much money he can make in a year. And he's just drooling at the thought of how much money he can make. And pretty much this guy, with red hair and with always looking like pissed off, just walks by and bumps into Blaze. And he doesn't know the name, but Kane basically says, watch where you're going, or you might get burned. And basically, a little bit of a spark starts on Blaze. And, well, he's basically surprised. And Blaze basically says, nice work, but I think mine's a little better. And basically takes Blaze's wallet and all the stuff in it, and basically opens it and sees, oh, you have a daughter? And Blaze basically not Blaze, but Kane basically just rips out of Blaze's hands and basically just says, yeah, so what? And Blaze asks, how much do you make a year? And Kane basically says, not that much, but I do have a family-owned restaurant. And Blaze says, okay, how about I invest into it, and you agree, to not harm me. Does that sound like a fair trade? And Kane basically says, yeah, that sounds like a really good trade-off. And they basically just keep on walking, and Blaze basically finds, Kane's place. And yeah. And Kane basically says, oh, you're here. Didn't even give you my address, but who cares? You probably stole it. Well, not stole it, but probably stole the card in my wallet that said where I lived. And Lee says, here you go. Here's it back. And Kane basically says, ugh. And he says, come in, I'll make some tea. And basically just snaps his fingers and a fire starts. And says, Zoe, come out here and help me with the tea. And she says, okay. And Kane basically and Blaze basically says, nice kid, who's the mother? And Kane says that she has no mother. She's adopted. And Blaze basically says, oh, what happened to her family? And Kane basically says, that's a touchy subject. And Blaze looks behind him and sees a literal death stare coming from a 8-year-old at this point. So yeah. And essentially, Blaze says, okay, I won't ask anymore. And she basically just goes back to her peppy mood and just starts with the tea. And, Blaze basically says, I have a sister that is really good with kids. Maybe, she can babysit now and again. And Kane basically says, yeah, that would be nice. Just taking a sip of tea. And Blaze too. And Blaze is basically just saying, you have a pretty nice place. So, can I see the restaurant you said you have? And Kane basically says, okay, let's go out back and it's out back. Not it's out back, but it's by the back. And basically they open the door and it leads out into the restaurant. It says, nice place. And yeah. Yeah. So Zoe basically is asking Blaze what he does. And Blaze basically says, I'm just a new stockbroker. Well, not stockbroker, but I'm a new investor. And she says, what's an investor? And Blaze basically, ruffles her hair and says, it's basically just a person who invests into businesses. So, and yeah. So, yeah. And Blaze basically says, I'm investing into your business. I usually have good luck investing in businesses. And Kane basically says, yeah, I know, I saw you made over $2,000 just by, day. And Blaze says, yeah, I did. And basically just says that to Kane that he has to go home, it's getting late. Blaze says to Kane that. And yeah, he basically goes home, and Dan is just patiently waiting and saying, why are you so late? They're twins, by the way, so yeah. Blaze is like 18, no, more like 16, and so is Deanna. She's younger by like 15 minutes, so yeah. So yeah, and Deanna basically is just wondering where Blaze has been, and basically says, I just made a new fronte. And basically says, oh, and we're going out tonight. My treat. And she basically, her eyes are basically glowing with excitement. Basically, doing not puppy dog eyes, but basically, she's really happy. So, yeah. Sorry, it's pretty late. It's 1 a.m. over here. Wow, it's already been 30 minutes. I did not expect it to be this long already. But yeah. Blaze basically says, oh, and I got you a job. And Diane says, I don't want a job. And Blaze says, you have to. It's going to help pay for your food bill. And she says, okay. Because she does anything for food. And, Diane asks, when is the job going to be? And Blaze basically says, it's just going to be babysitting, $4 an hour. And she says, fine, that's really low. And Blaze says, I know it is, but a new friend is a new friend. So yeah. And essentially, Blaze and Dan basically just go to sleep, and next morning, Blaze takes Diane to a restaurant, and it says Kane's Family Diner. And they basically go in, and the first thing she sees is just not omelet, but basically a burger passed by her. And this little girl's basically serving it. Well, no, not that. But this tough, grouchy guy is serving it. Yeah, right there. Kane is. And he basically plunks it down on the table and says, "Order up." And, well, and it's basically just Kane and no one else is working there besides Zoe. So, yeah. And Diane says, "Wow, this is a really nice place. Not many people in here, though. Huh?" And Blaze says, "Yeah, it didn't look that busy. But that's the fortunate side of investing into businesses. You can either get highballed or lowballed. It's just like gambling." And yeah, Jan basically says, "What's gambling?" And Blaze basically says, "Nothing you need to know about." And then, nah, then Blaze basically says, "Hey, Kane, just brought my sister like you asked." And Kane says, "Oh, good. At least we're going to have someone babysitting Zoe." And to, and Diane basically says, "Okay, where is the little girl?" And Kane basically says, "Follow me," and takes them back to his place. It's only a couple. It's basically like right in front of the restaurant. Right behind the restaurant. They're basically chained together. So, yeah. And Blaze is just going to say, "You're going to babysit to Zoe." And Zoe's basically coloring in, a coloring book, saying, "Nice to meet you." And to Diane says, "Likewise." Sorry, I'm just checking the time. But yeah. So Diane basically just, well, go basically just babysits for a while. And basically ask, what's Kane like?" And to Zoe basically says, "He's pretty nice, except when he gets angry." And she basically, and Diane basically asks, "What's he like when he's angry?" And basically shows a video that was, well, basically on the news for a couple days. And it basically said this entire block was blown up by this stray villain. And no one knew who it was, who the villain was, or who actually started the fire. But it was Blaze. Not Blaze, but Kane. Blaze would have been a better name for Kane, but yeah. Missed opportunity. But yeah. Basically, Kane just is setting an entire neighborhood on fire accidentally, while way over angered. And the reason why is because this little kid stole one of Zoe's toys. So, yeah. And, yeah. And Zoe basically says that Mr. Kane is really nice if you get to know him. And Dan basically says I thought he was your father. And Zoe basically says, mm-mm. And basically, Dan basically asks, well, who is your father? And Zoe basically, yeah, closes her mouth and clears so intensely that it would probably, yeah, scare anyone. It's basically she was releasing so much bloodlust at that moment that Kane could feel it. And he's just like in an entirely different room. But yeah, it's so much bloodlust. So yeah. Uh, and basically, she just Zoe just starts throwing knives and stuff like that at Deanne because no one's there to stop Zoe. Because once Zoe gets mad, or at least releases a little bit of bloodlust, she basically goes into a different mode. I like to call this mode blackout mode. It's basically her body moving on its own, just trying to kill anyone. The only way for her to stop is Kane. But later on, she's going to have other friends. So yeah. And basically, yeah, Kane comes in and says, Zoe, Diane, what did you say to Zoe? Basically glaring so intensely at Deanne. Deanne passes out. And, yeah. And, well, 8 hours later, Blaze basically just starts hitting, Deanne's face. Well, not hitting, but, basically what All Might was doing to Deku. So, yeah. And to pretty much ask what happened. And Dan basically explains that they were having a nice conversation. And then she asks about Zoe's parents. And Kane basically said, you shouldn't do that. And Dan asked why. And Kane basically says, look around you. And basically, there's a destroyed face, there's a lot of knives in the walls, and I mean a lot of holes in the walls. And she basically says, oh, sorry? And Blaze says, sorry, it's not going to make all this better. And basically, yeah, Blaze says, you're going to have to work this off. And I have the perfect thing for you to do. And looks over at Kane. And basically, they look at each other with the most evil grins. And pretty much, they have Dan work there in a hot costume, just playing, like, basically out front, passing out flyers and stuff like that. And it's a punishment. 2, it's promoting the business. 3, it's showing kids that's a family-friendly restaurant. And 4, it's basically a cute dog. Well, I mean, a cute dog, as a mascot for the restaurant. So, yeah. They basically have, like, a animatronic dog in there. Just playing songs. So yeah. Uh, and yeah, Blaze and Kane basically agree to start a villain group because they both are villains and they both know a little bit about the world. So they basically just agree to make a villain group. It's always obvious. And they basically are just trying to think of names for it. Someone says, how about once we get all of our members? Maybe we have several generals that are higher class than the underlings. Does that sound good? That's basically what Zoe's saying, because she's a pretty intelligent girl. And basically, Kane pats her on the head and says, "Good idea, Zoe." And yeah, pretty much they they say, "Let's wait until we get our last member." Well, not the last member, the last strong member. Or let's just name it. How about we name it the Seven Sins and only have 7 generals? Because all the people here already embody a sin. And Blaze agrees with Kane. And they basically say, okay, so what's your sin, Kane? And Kane says, it's obviously pride. What's Zoe's? Envy, because she doesn't have a quirk. And mine? Greed. And what about Dan's? Is she joining? I would think so. She has a similar quirk to me, but it's a lot more deadly. And they basically ask what the quirk is. And Blaze says, I'll keep it a surprise, but it has something to do with our appetite. And basically they wait until Diane comes back, and she basically is exhausted from passing out flyers in a hot costume. And they basically Kane says, what is your quirk? And Dan naively says, my quirk? Well, my quirk is called steal nutrients. It basically allows me to steal all of the nutrients in someone's body and give it all to me. And they basically say, oh, that sounds like a gluttonous quirk, doesn't it? And yeah, Blaze basically shakes his head, yeah. And this is going to be the end of the story for now. See you guys later in peace. Sorry I got off for a bit. I just accidentally hit too early.